I gotta give credit to the WWE for, I guess you could say, fooling me. Because I will admit, I really thought that the WWE was going to pick Jericho to win the Rumble. I mean, there was like no doubt in my mind that Jericho wasn't going to win because everything just made so much sense, with the whole build to his comeback, and his comeback that led him speechless for several weeks. He walks into the Rumble drawing a good number, number 29, and he ends up being the one of the last two people in the Rumble. He was alongside Sheamus, and they had a nice bout, a nice little fight at the end of the Rumble. You didn't really know who was going to win. When I saw that Jericho was in the final two, I was like, well, this is going to happen. I just don't see Sheamus winning. But guess what? He did win. And it really, I don't want to say it shocked me, but I will say I was surprised. I mean, I'm not upset that Sheamus won the Rumble. I think it is great. It's a young, up-and-coming talent. Sheamus is going to go far in the WWE. And this is a great way to add to that stellar career that he's going to end up having when it's all said and done. So now he has a Royal Rumble victory. And this is going to be great to see which direction he goes, because he gets a choice of title shot, either the WWE title or the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, seeing that he is a SmackDown guy, more than likely he probably will go for the World Heavyweight Championship. And speaking of the World Heavyweight Championship, that was the first match of the pay-per-view. I didn't like that. Why are you starting the show with a world title match? They added 2 extra matches to the pay-per-view. We got to see the heel Divas take on the face Divas in an 8-diva tag team match. And we also got to see Drew McIntyre get squashed by Brodus Clay. So I don't understand why one of those 2 matches couldn't have been first. Drew McIntyre and Brodus Clay could have really got the crowd pumped for the pay-per-view. Brodus Clay is loved by the audience, so he could have came out, got the crowd hyped, squashed Drew McIntyre, started off the Rumble, and then they could have went on to something else. But whatever. It is what it is. But we go back to the World Heavyweight Championship match. Daniel Bryan defending the title inside a steel cage in a triple threat against Mark Henry and The Big Show. I was having high hopes for this match, and to me it just didn't deliver like it should have. I was hoping to see so much more in this match, but when you're only given about 9 minutes to have a match, it doesn't leave you much time to execute much. So, yeah, you have Daniel Bryan retaining the title by slipping out of the grasp of The Big Show. The Big Show had Daniel Bryan. He had him dangling outside of the cage. The only thing that was keeping Daniel Bryan from winning the match was The Big Show. The Big Show had the grip on him. But he slipped and fell. Daniel Bryan hits the floor and wins the match, retaining the championship. I'm not mad Daniel Bryan won. I'm happy to see that they are having, some faith in Daniel Bryan. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Of course, the Elimination Chamber is only 3 weeks away, so they could do a title switch at the Chamber, but I don't know. But anyways, you had Mark Henry and The Big Show and Daniel Bryan all fighting each other in this match. And to me, leading up to the match, there was so much story, with The Big Show and Mark Henry having their feud. And then Daniel Bryan coming in and cashing in his Money in the Bank to screw The Big Show out of the championship. These guys have some history. And I was hoping to see a more aggressive style match, especially from The Big Show and Mark Henry. But, to me, it just didn't get going. It just kind of just lacked in some areas, but I didn't really like the finish. I didn't like that Daniel Bryan just slipped out of the Big Show's hands, but I do get it. I get why it's done that way. You know, Daniel Bryan has been booked to be the guy that always gets away by the skin of his own teeth. He just seems to always find a way to slip himself into the right predicament to where he could come out the victor. And he somehow did it again at the Rumble. And for that, I say bravo to Daniel Bryan, but the match itself was just okay. And like I said, they threw in extra matches. Beth Phoenix, Nikki and Brie Bella, Italia taking on TAMINA, Alicia FOXX, Eve, Torres, and Kelly. You know, this was just, you know, it was good for a Divas match. I'll say that. You know, I did like the spot where Kelly splashed off the top rope to the outside, landing on all the Divas. That was pretty entertaining to watch. And then watching Beth Phoenix just come in and dominate the ending of the match, you know, just taking the win by glam slamming Kelly for the 1-2-3. That was pretty awesome to see as well. But once again, 5 minutes, you know, you can't really do much in 5 minutes. They could have just gave that 5 minutes to the triple threat match, and that match probably could have been a whole lot better. But anyways, next we get to a match that I was really looking forward to seeing. John Cena taking on Kane. Talk about a match that had a lot of hype going into it as far as the whole build for it. Kane making John Cena, or trying to make John Cena, embrace the hate. And you have the match. And the match, it was a good little match. But it ended in a double countout. A double countout. I mean, it's pay-per-view. Why are we ending the match like this? This only tells me that they're just going to continue this story to the next pay-per-view. So I guess it is good that neither man lost the match. But you have Kane and John Cena didn't count it out. They just brawl. I mean, they're just brawling on the outside. The ref counts to 10. Match is over, but they're still fighting. They fight all the way up the ramp to the behind the scenes backstage area. They somehow conveniently fight their way to Zack Ryder's locker room, to his dressing room. Kane somehow is able to knock Cena out for a moment. Kane goes into Zack Ryder's dressing room. Zack Ryder sitting there in a wheelchair, defenseless. Kane smothers Zack Ryder with the big hand of doom. He takes him out to the ring, pushes him out in the wheelchair, dumps him over. And what does he do? He puts Zack Ryder in the middle of the ring while Eve is watching, while Zack Ryder's girlfriend Eve is watching, and he gives Zack Ryder the tombstone. That was probably the best part of that match. So I gotta say, you know, the match ended in double DQ, but the aftermath added to the match, which just made the match that much better. So it's great to see that, you know, Kane is still doing his best to get Cena to embrace the hate. And the way he's doing that is by hurting the people that Cena loves, you know. Cena and Zack Ryder are supposed to be best friends, of course, in the storyline. So I'm sure it's hard for Cena to see that happen to his best friend. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on Raw tonight. That's all I got to say. But we end in a double countout. No big deal. So let's go on to the next match. Like I said, they threw together 2 more matches in the pay-per-view. The next match was Drew McIntyre and Brodus Clay. It's funny to see Drew McIntyre in a pay-per-view. I mean, isn't this guy the same guy that's on SmackDown begging Teddy Long to give him another chance? Because every chance that Drew McIntyre gets, he is getting his ass beat. He is getting his ass handed to him. And Teddy Long keeps telling him that, hey man, your job is at stake if you don't win this match. But guess what? He keeps getting chance after chance after chance. The guy can't win a match to save his life, but now all of a sudden, he's in the Royal Rumble. He's got a match. Of course, it's against Brodus Clay, so his odds of winning are not that good. Brodus Clay comes out to a big pop, of course. He does this thing in the ring. and he squashes Drew McIntyre in a minute. I mean, it took no longer than that. So Drew McIntyre once again loses. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Drew McIntyre on SmackDown this Friday night. But yeah, that wasn't much to talk about. Just a throw together match that really just didn't really have a point at all. But now we get to the WWE Championship match. And this match is another match that I was really looking forward to seeing. And for the most part, this match delivered, from top to bottom. I thought it was a great match. Now, John Laurinaitis, he was supposed to be the special guest referee. He comes out wearing the referee shirt with the sleeves cut off. He's got his big guns bulging and all that great stuff. And he tells everyone that he's not going to be the actual referee, but he's going to be the outside referee. He's going to referee from outside. Basically, what he ended up being was the designated texter because he was texting pretty much the whole match. But anyways, Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk. Talk about a really good match. Bunch of false finishes, back and forth. Punk gets the win with the GTS. Now, everyone was wondering, is John Laurinaitis going to call the match straight up and down? Well, he didn't really have a chance to call the match because, well, he wasn't the actual ref. But there was something funny that happened at the end of this match. As the referee was counting the 1, 2, 3, John Laurinaitis, he swoops in and counts the 1, 2, 3 with the referee. It was kind of funny, to be quite honest. But John Laurinaitis, his fate will be decided tonight on Raw. Will he keep his job? Will Triple H fire him? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So, yeah, you can see why John Laurinaitis did what he did, because he's just basically trying to make himself look good in front of everybody, and hopefully he will try to persuade Triple H to maybe keep him hired on just for a little bit longer. But that match actually was pretty entertaining, I will say that. Next up is the Royal Rumble match itself. And I gotta say, this Royal Rumble, for the most part, it did surprise me. I will say that. I predicted that Chris Jericho would walk into the Royal Rumble and win the match. And you almost thought that that was going to happen because it was Jericho and Sheamus, the final two in the Rumble, and they were battling each other. You thought for a moment that Sheamus was going to be gone. Then you thought, no, Jericho's going to lose it. Back and forth. It went on for a good while. And then finally, Sheamus gets Jericho over, and Sheamus becomes the 2012 winner of the Royal Rumble. I'm not mad it happened. Not at all, because I think it's great that the WWE is giving this win to a guy like Sheamus. Sheamus has done a great amount of improvement over the last several years in the WWE, and it's great to see that the WWE has faith in him. They're going to give him this ball. He's going to get a main event title match of his choice at WrestleMania 28. So the WWE has a lot of faith in this guy, and it was great to see. Now, this Royal Rumble overall, like I said, I thought it was great. There were some great surprises in it, and there was some not so great surprises. I loved how great The Miz and Cody Rhodes and Kofi Kingston looked. If you didn't see Kofi Kingston's moments in the Royal Rumble, you need to look it up. The handstand on the outside was excellent. You got to watch that. But The Miz, he drew number 1. He ended up lasting damn near the whole Rumble. He looked great. Cody Rhodes looked great as well. He lasted in the Rumble for a long time as well. But, yeah, we got to see Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the first ever winner of the Royal Rumble. We got to see the Road Dogg Jesse James. Got to see Jerry the King Lawler, Booker T, Michael Cole. All 3 announcers were in the Rumble. It was not probably the greatest moment of this Rumble, seeing Michael Cole especially. But we got to see Santino and Mick Foley have a great funny moment in the Rumble with the Cobra and Mr. Sacco. It was great. Ricardo Rodriguez, he made a nice little impact in the Rumble as well. He had some funny moments. But overall, the pay-per-view, it was good. I will say that. I thought the Rumble was great, though. These are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you like the Rumble? What'd you like? What'd you dislike? This is Gold Izzy. Peace out, guys.